Hey everybody, welcome back to the Voicehacks channel. Today we have awesome guests on with us, Vegas singers. I don't know if we want to call ourselves that right now, but we're all the singers that live in Las Vegas. And we have Brendan Shane right here from the Nocturnal Affair. And we have Lisa Foyles over here, who some of you guys also know from her acting endeavors from the show All That, as well as many other productions that you've seen her in. Her podcast, Temperamental, where she talks a lot about those things, and also singing in Vegas with Von Bolt and several other bands and artists. And so we're going to have fun talking today. How are you guys doing?
Amazing. No, you're right. I totally peaked when I was 14. Like it's been downhill ever since.
Unfortunately, I also peaked when I was 14. Just nobody had it on camera. So, oh well.
No, thank you so much for having us. I was really excited when you extended the invite. Unfortunately, you also invited Brendan. But
I'm just here for the free soda and water
and bubblies. Today we're going to talk about the Yarlers, which is a whole era of music that many of us lived through. I think I'm the eldest person in this room, so I definitely lived through it. And
how old are you?
I'm 43.
What?
Girl,
Yes.
You look so good.
Yes.
You stop.
I am. I used to not tell people how old I was, like on stuff, because I just didn't want to. I guess I just wanted to seem younger. But then I would do videos like this about Yarlers and stuff, and I would get a lot of, and also like my vocal videos. People don't believe I've taught as many people as I have.
They're like, who's this child that talks about these things?
And they're like, we can't. Like, people would assume that I was like not as experienced or as
Right. knowledgeable
or whatever. It's just like working against me, actually.
Now you got to own it.
So now I'm just
Freedom.
like, I'm 43.
Wow.
So the Yarlers were my time, but I think you guys were around for many different eras of Jarl as well. And so we're gonna discuss that. Do you have favorite Yarler that you like?
The first singer of Fuel, probably.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Fuel and Cold are kind of I view them more as like Jarl adjacent though. You know, like not as primary Jarl.
Yeah.
I don't know that hemorrhage fucking bleed blah bleed down in my, and I mean that in the fucking most loving way. Can I swear on this podcast?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean that in the most fucking loving way. In fact, my now previous drummer just left the band to go be in a band with him. And
oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm really, really happy for him, and I'm also really jealous because I'm like, I want to be in a band with him. I loved that record.
You got enough going on, dog. Chill.
I know.
Chill.
But it'd be fun.
You got your own freaking kick-ass band.
I do.
I mean, that's what people say. I don't say that, but other people have said that about your band. That it's awesome.
I show up to those shows for the free drinks.
I would never compliment you to your face.
I would never compliment me to my face either.
You guys are savage. It's crazy how you know the world overlaps like that, and that's also why I'm really hesitant in the music industry. Like why I'm not going to criticize very many singers on my channel. I just won't talk about them if it's something awful. Like,
that's tough.
At least in the same industry, because we know these people. Like some of them live in Vegas.
Yes.
Many of them we might share bandmates with. Yep. Some people I've actually, from bands I've reacted to, I've actually had in lessons later. And I'm glad that you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it can't be a hate fest.
Is that why we're really here? You really want to tell us something? Like, is there something wrong with our singing?
Oh, I'm sure we're both doing a lot of things wrong.
Yeah,
like, for sure.
This is where she's like, look, guys.
What?
There's been so many times where I'm like, my old opera teacher is just like spinning in her grave right now. Like, it's okay. She was really old. Like, she was old when I knew her.
So you studied classical training then?
Yes. So I trained as an opera singer when I was a kid. Started with, kind of classical, like Broadway stuff, kind of moved into the opera scene, I guess, singing lots of songs in Italian. Had no idea what I was saying. I'm just like memorizing the words, no idea what I'm doing. But I don't know, it was fine. I wasn't like big. I didn't really like it. I didn't want to pursue a career in opera singing. I don't know. But it sure gave me a good foundation for moving forward. And, you know, the singing I'm doing now, I can, because Pat Benatar, didn't she start as opera or something?
Yeah. She definitely had classical training too.
Yeah.
That's me too. And so I went to college for music, and I had to study opera because there was no other choice. This is the type of music you will study, and there's no like metal option or anything like that. Even though I was doing like harsh vocals concurrently with that, and like totally gothed out in the whole deal. But anyway,
I feel like the only opera option in metal is like Cradle of Filth. So.
No, you know, like Nightwish.
Nightwish. No, I know. I was being facetious. Nice. I had a little bit of classical training myself. I had a middle school choir director that taught us all very, very strictly music theory and just classical theory. And that kind of bled over into high school. I had a choir director my freshman year who was like super awesome. That was about it.
Yeah, but that makes a difference. Like you guys are both excellent singers. And I'm always telling people like, it's not magic. Like even people who are like, oh, I really haven't had much, like it's not usually magic. There's usually something you were doing. You were doing at least something to practice or something.
Man, I so wish I would have called you because I had this crazy recording experience with Fat Mike recently where my classical training was working against me because it was punk. And so I'm very used to like, projecting and the vibrato and like singing for my diaphragm, making it pretty. And he wanted me to do a couple lines on one of his new songs for the band Co-Defendants, a band that he produces. And I was in this recording session with him and he was just like, stop making it pretty. He's like, no vibrato. He's like, no vibrato. He's like, you're too trained. Like, this is a problem. I want you to cut all the vibrato, which was hard to like hold a lot of these notes.
So
it's really hard.
And not do vibrato.
Dude.
It was great. And then he wanted me to add just enough of the harsh onto it, but I wasn't really used to it at that time.
Yeah,
so it's just like, just in the moment, very intimidating. Working with Fat Mike right next to me. And he's like, do it again, do it again, do it again. No vibrato, do it again, make it ugly, do it again. I'm just like, I was like all up in my own head.
Oh yeah, it's so intimidating. Being with the producers, like it's just like they're hitting the space bar.
Yeah, and also it was kind of this.
You know what I mean?
Starting, I'm just gonna put it on a loop. When Logan Mader tells me I'm just gonna put it on a loop, I'm like, oh, I'm fucking. Okay,
I'm not even gonna.
He's
hit
like, you
the
just
space
keep doing
bar.
it until I stop, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Like screw you. We're not even hitting the space bar.
I mean, I so wish I would have like been able to escape and just call you for 5 minutes. Like, help me! What do I do? Because like on top of that, it was supposed to be the line was supposed to be almost whispered as like a cry for help, and just like so I had to have that emotion come through too, like
So
almost on
hard.
the verge of tears while also trying to do these vocals. It turned out awesome, like the way they produced it. Like I did it. I did the thing. I got through it. But it was one of the hardest recording sessions ever where, like I said, my classical training was working against me. If I would have just had, done the Brendan thing and like smoked a couple cigars and had some bourbon. And
very, very similar situation happened with me during the pandemic. While everything was shut down, Fear Factory was looking for a new singer. And so I get a call from Logan Mader's generally my engineer when I work on music.
Another person living in Vegas.
Yeah, he actually just moved. Yeah, so he calls me and he goes, hey, Dino just hit me up. They need a singer for Fear Factory. And I said, okay, I'll look around. And he's like, no, idiot. Like, come in and record a couple songs, audition. And I went, oh, okay. I just thought he was looking for, hey, man, if you know anybody.
Oh, you're so humble. Picture of humility.
No, it was just more stupid. I was like,
The
yeah, I'll see
picture
if
of
I know anyone.
stupidity.
Yeah, and he's like, what the fuck, dude? Come out. Can you get to the studio? And I was like, oh, yeah. What song am I doing? So I do these, and if you want to hear the tracks later, I'll show them to you. And,
Yeah, that would be sweet.
So we sent him to Dino, and Dino goes, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, he's a choir boy. Like he's good, great voice, but that's not like Bert. Sorry. It was just,
that's
and
funny.
I later met their drummer on a Jericho cruise, and I'm like hanging out with Jericho and everybody afterwards, and I run into him, and I'm like, why do you look familiar? He goes, oh, I also play drums for Fear Factory. I said,
Oh my God.
I auditioned for you guys during the pandemic. He goes, oh yeah, that's why the Nocturnal Affair. You're the choir boy. And I was like, no. But I took it as a compliment because we're trained to, that's what was embedded into our skulls.
Yes.
You sing like this, your breath support is like this. Don't make an R sound, it's ah. You know what I mean? You don't say eh, it's ah always. Like
It's very difficult, and coming from that world, I had to kind of undo a lot of that, and then also I'll teach people to undo some of that, and it is weird. I always remind everybody, like when you really listen to the modern singers, and we'll notice it today in the Yarlers, as great of singers as a lot of them are, suspend the vibrato. We try not to engage it until you want to go from way more delayed onset, and I'm way guilty of this too because of the opera thing. And then some of the first bands I was in were more power metal, where they do want that classical vibrato on like every note, like Bruce Dickinson, run to the, they want that. And I was like listening to Iron Maiden, and that goes very good somewhat with the classical, but most of the singers, like bands we were talking about before, like Fuel, or any of the bands we'll listen to today, we have to sing it more like, in my hands, straight tone. And we just kind of have to forget about the vibrato. Even people we think have a lot of vibrato, like Lane Staley, if you actually like close your eyes and pay attention, he really is not using it very much. It's like we're way delayed onset. But as you mentioned, and you experienced in studio, it's a lot harder to do that. You need a lot more air support to do that. Yeah. And if you've been managing your breath support with having vibrato, your whole life, it's really hard to undo that.
Yep, that's exactly what I had.
Well,
had to discover right in front of Fat Mike.
But that's good though. I think that's great. I love that. By the way, can we listen to that song? Is it out?
It's not out yet. Okay. But I performed it for the first, so that band actually performed it for the very first time at the Punk Rock Museum a couple days ago, and I happened to be there. Very funny.
Cool.
It's a packed house. It's a punk rock museum. Everybody's there in their leather and their punk and their, the piercings and all the things. I had just come from Oktoberfest. So I was in my dirndl. And
amazing.
And my husband was in his lederhosen.
Wait.
So we just walk up and we're like,
Wait, that was that same night?
Yeah, you left too soon.
You didn't tell me that was happening.
I didn't know either. I wouldn't have dressed like that if I knew they were going to pull me up in front of everybody. I do have a video of it though, but I don't know. The song's not out yet. So, but they did perform it. So I don't know. It's a gray area, right?
It's a gray area. You're like,
but,
I don't know if I can show.
So they pull me up and in my little dress, they hand me the mic and I like sing my part and then I get back in the crowd.
You're like,
so funny. I love that the debut of the song, the first time ever performed it, and I finally get to perform it on stage. I'm like, stupid Oktoberfest.
You're holding a boot?
Yeah, I have my Das Boot.
That's so hysterical.
It was awesome.
Were you guys just dressed up because you were attending or were you doing some kind of performing?
No,
there?
I gigged 4 days in a row at Craft House for their House Fest. It's their Oktoberfest.
Oh, cool.
Little 3-piece bar gig just at the little breweries. Just mostly there just to create an atmosphere. Like my big thing with singing is I love crowd work. I love making the audience my friend. I like going out into the crowd, cheersing them, sitting down with them, having a conversation mid-song, and the whole Spider-Man thing. Like, oh, I'll be right back. I gotta go sing now. Like run back on stage. Yeah. That's kind of my thing. So, Craft House likes to hire me for all their fun events, just to get people drinking and dancing and having fun. So that's what I did for 4 days. I just happened to be dressed like that when we went to the punk rock museum.
Did you? Hey everybody, let me take a quick minute to share with you the home of my new courses at courses.voicehacks.net. You're looking at here the outline of the very in-depth fry screaming course that I have created after years of people asking for it. I finally made my best course ever. You can get it on courses.voicehacks.net and you can really start doing extreme vocals soon. I have a course as well on false chord screaming. So right now you could bundle them together. We've got payment plans and it's not an annoying subscription. Once you're in forever. You can keep revisiting the videos as much as you like. Don't wait. Start learning to scream today at courses.voicehacks.net. Did you do any German songs? Or
I did 99 Red Balloons.
99
Yeah.
That's so cool. I want to take a look at Brendan singing. You guys did a really interesting cover, which really surprised me, of What Is Love. Baby, it don't hurt
We did.
me. How did that come about?
That was actually an idea from a previous band member of ours, who we all laughed at. He was like,
"Yeah,
I've got this idea for What Is Love," and we were like, "No." And he was like, "No, check it out."
Is that when you fired him?
Yeah, that was exactly when.
Is that moment?
Was it.
Hey, let's do What Is Love. Get out.
It's no. It's he's doing really cool stuff now. But we had to play a cruise line, and it was the Jericho Cruise again. We've done it like 18 times. There's only been like
so
5
cool.
or 6 of them, but I feel like we've done it 18 times.
That is dope.
No, but I love it. It's so fun, dude.
Yeah.
It's like if you've ever been to a convention, it's like a convention on the water with like nonstop alcohol, and everybody's in the same stuff as you. And it's just like you become family. And
no
then
way, dog. I saw Poop Cruise. I ain't getting on that boat.
You saw Poop Cruise?
You didn't
the
see Poop
documentary.
Cruise?
You didn't see the documentary.
You will not get back on that boat if you watch Poop Cruise. It's poop on the boat, man.
What?
It's called Poop Cruise. It's poop
Yeah,
on the boat.
I mean, we all carry
on
poop
Netflix.
everywhere we go naturally. So
Don't be gross about
you
it.
can't escape your own
I'm the one
poop.
talking about poop.
That's it.
Well, the
You always
problem-
talk about poop.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the problem was on the poop cruise.
Ain't
that-
getting
I
on
thought
that
you
boat.
said I thought you said Pope Cruise, and I was like, this is gonna get religious, isn't it?
That's a different documentary.
I mean, yeah, that's a whole different one.
I could just
the
see
whole it has
the
a glass
Pope in, like,
box. No, it has a glass box over the boat.
he's
This
like
is in fact the
Oh,
he's
poop
like
cruise.
in full. He's got like a bunch of beach clothes on, and he's like tanning, but the box is still over him.
The box is
Like,
still
he's-
over.
somebody's,
Snowmobile
like, tanning.
cruise.
It's a greenhouse situation. Good for you and your boat. I'm good
Yeah,
for you.
so-
Good
the
for
boat.
you and your boat. Yeah, we're so
and your
proud of
boat.
you and your little
Your boat
rowboat.
over here.
Great, you were in the
Your
water.
boat over
You
here.
little thug
Did
boat.
you experience some waves? Good for you. What were we talking about?
We were talking
I don't
about
know.
what is love. So did that?
Okay.
How did that come
So
up?
yeah,
on
so
the Jericho
previous
cruise?
band member was like, "Yo, this is like the perfect drunk people song.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's do it." And we put it together. We made a little rock version of it, and it was mostly like his version, which was really good. And we played it on the cruise, and our management, our whole team was there and heard it, and then it was no longer our choice. They were like, "This is our song now."
You must do this.
And they threw
Don't
us.
do it in front of the manager.
They well, but here's the thing. It's because we played it, and it was like it was like we put a spell on the people in front of us.
Yeah.
Everybody got crazy. Everybody knows the song.
Dude,
Yeah,
So
the
they're
power
like
of
drinking. They're
yeah.
getting and like everybody was at least 20% more wasted by the time we were done with our set after that song.
20, this song will get you 20%.
Like no, like people were getting
more
excited. They're going to the bar. They're wanting to party.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
No,
drinking
that's
more.
great,
They're bringing
yeah.
me shots on stage, and I'm like, what is happening? You know, and so we were supposed to play two different sets. We played "What Is Love" again in like the atrium the next night, and people were like, "Yeah!"
Dude, the power of
sick.
throwing in a well-known cover
Oh my
when you're an
God.
original band, the
Yeah.
power in that. Like they then
Yeah.
start listening to your original stuff more because you
Exactly.
played
Way
a song
more.
I
And
know.
it's the beauty of it is now you've got maybe, you know, because we played it before, we played the cruise before, so there were a good amount of people singing our songs. But then we had the entire atrium of the ship singing with us by the end of the night.
Now
Yeah.
you got their attention.
And now we're
Yep.
friends.
Yep.
And now we're all friends because we shared this experience. So the song fell out of our hands, and our the band member never let us hear the end of it. He's like, "I told you," and I was like, "You're totally right." Now we've fallen
Yes.
in love with the song. I remember our bass player, who's now our lead guitar player, when he first heard the song, he like, because we had to play a cover. And he just like would passive aggressively just like start playing The Pot by Tool. Like, we should be doing this instead. Guys, check out how cool it is. He's like, "What are we doing? What is love for, man? We're not a yacht rock band like this and that." But it's going really well.
But you are on a boat, though,
Yeah.
to be fair.
to be fair,
but
yacht
we
metal.
we generally play darker rock. You know what I mean? We're playing
Yeah.
darker
Yeah, yeah.
songs. So then suddenly, what is love? But it's like now it's the kind of the perfect.
Okay.
You know.
Let's play it. Let's play it. Let's play it. Let's play it.
Okay. Yeah, we need to play it first of all.
Oh, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Got ready.
Oh, we're getting
This
getting
video was
stoked.
so fun though.
Love this video.
It was so fun to shoot.
Now,
You doing it?
we're doing it. We're doing it.
Oh, we're doing it. Wait, which way are you going?
I don't know. Maybe this way.
I'm like, which way am I supposed to go? Yes. But see, I love what you guys did to it. Like, this has an actual riff. It's tuned down. Like,
Yeah. So when we brought it to the studio, our manager Mark and our producer, John Moyer and Logan Mader, they kind of took over, and it just became our team's like monster, like Frankenstein's monster. So
yes.
what we brought to the studio was not what we received at the end. It was like I recorded my parts, and this is a very normal thing that happens, obviously, in the industry.
Yes. Wait, hold on. Let us revel in this for a second. No more. What is... This is so good. It's part of it's
So
the
good.
way you guys did it though. Like this has really good. Yeah, you put the melody. Although I think as a missed opportunity, Lisa totally could have done that. Yep.
Yeah. Wait.
I would have done it just
Where
like that.
where were you? Because we did this, but you
I know.
were.
I know all these people in the crowd. I'm like, these are all my friends.
You were. Was this when you were in the UK?
Yeah, I think I was in
You were like
Scotland.
sending me like videos on stage or something of something, or
Yeah, I would have been there if I was in town for sure.
Yeah. So you guys did this at the Sand Dollar downtown, which is so cool because we've all played there, and so it's like really neat to see like a dope video in like our town.
the only time I've actually been on stage at the Sand Dollar was to Jarl.
What?
I Jarled. Yeah,
You're a Yarler.
I Jarled. It was for the
There was Yarling?
Was he Yarling?
it was for the oh my gosh, my brain. It's because
You guys, wait. This is a great way to do this. Sick. That turned out so good.
You're so good at
So I
keeping
literally,
the.
I really told my producer too. I was like, for that part, I want that Cher. Do you believe in life after love? That
Yes.
really auto tune. Like
We could argue
there's
Cher
like
is
that
a
moment.
Yarler.
I was like, I want that. She totally is. So it was the Chris Cornell tribute, and I was Pete from Crashing Wayward was doing Hunger Strike, and they needed somebody to do the homie from Pearl Jam's vocal. So I went out and I yelled the hell out of that night.
Nice.
I don't mind stealing bread, like that whole thing. But,
Now that you know, you're real well versed in what yarling is.
yarling.
You can brag about your yarl
But-
technique.
yeah,
what a great cover, you guys. And honestly, like, this is so much more musical. So coming from classical, I never understood this whole cover band versus original thing. And it's kind of like totally dissolved thanks to YouTube and social media. And I don't think people look at it that way anymore. And to me, it's just repertoire. They're just songs. And I don't understand why it matters as much if you wrote them or not. And so I think it's great when you put your own twist on a composition like that. It's way heavier. It's super enjoyable. I like it a lot better than the original.
Yeah, you certainly paid tribute to the original and put your own spin on it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I don't know, man. It's you grew up in Vegas and you see how well covers do, and
Yeah.
if you want to do anything in this town, cover is king. And Lisa is a great example of just if you do it right, how fast people recognize you and how you can start working your way up in the
Oh
scene.
yeah, absolutely. Lisa's been she's a great example. She's been totally like absorbed. How long have you lived in Vegas?
I've been in Vegas, I want to say like 7 or 8 years, but really only in the music scene for like 3 or 4.
That's what I'm saying. You've sort of just been like picked up and totally absorbed into the music scene.
I just, I'm a social butterfly. So anywhere I go, I just I make friends and I network. And then I love being creative with other creative people. So bands love pulling me up on stage, just do a song. And I just kind of bring my own special brand of chaos to the stage for that one song. And, I've just, Radical West has pulled me up and Bootylicious, I've sung with them. And Mach 5, all these bands around town. And even this Friday, Patrick in the LVB has a residency at Rhythm and Riffs, and he's like, "Come do 4 songs." I'm like, "Okay."
That's so exciting.
I feel like if you just, I'm such a big believer in supporting artists and going the extra mile to promote people's work, even though, even if I'm not benefiting from it, I'm like, you guys are all grinding, you're all working hard, like on social media, like I'll promote your stuff. And it always comes back, right? Like when you support people, they support you. And it's just, I found that to be such a key to you kind of moving up in this town. It's just genuinely be friends with people and be genuine about your support for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I met Brendan at Kenny Davidson's, I think.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's when we met because I knew
met,
of you.
Yeah.
I just did Monday's Dark with Ken.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Okay,
the
he was
man.
doing the Monday's Dark. Oh, speaking of Monday's Dark, I wanted to segue and I wanted to show you on Monday's Dark from 2 nights ago We're Not Gonna Take It, because it was awesome. It was super
fantastic.
awesome.
It was fantastic.
And so let's take a little bit of Lisa rocking out here in Vegas and doing this here. Yeah. I love your outfit.
Thank you. The half disco ball.
It's
the,
so excellent.
David Bowie one leg thing happening.
It's kind of like if Paul Stanley's guitar came alive.
Yes. Ooh. So funny. I was just talking about this song on my podcast and how I love the way D goes, "Oh, we're not gonna take it." It's not just it's almost like it adds an extra syllable to it, but it's like he's filling his diaphragm with so much air before he does the "Oh, we're not gonna take." And I was doing that and I felt like it really helped.
It
like
does,
to add power to the words. Just
sure.
Go, "Oh, we're not gonna." It's awesome.
You did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
I love your hair and everything too.
Thank you.
You have such great stage presence.
Thank you, man.
Yes. Well, do you feel like you're being such an experienced actor that plays a huge role in
absolutely.
What you're going to do up there?
Yeah. By the way, that whole get up, my hair and the boots and the outfit, that's my get up for my band that is yet to be announced. But like that's like the look. That's sort of like kind of representing my new band with my kind of debuting the look at
Are you announcing
Monday's
it?
Dark. I'm not announcing it right now.
That is
I will announce it soon.
Talk about it right now.
That is
no, I mean I can say
so
I have
cool.
I can say I have my own band that I've developed, and yes, officially it is true. I do have my own band.
That is so cool.
Not gonna announce like
I'll give him the name right now. It's actually,
you're not. No, you're not. No, you're
it's
not.
Lisa Foyles and the Fart Sniffers.
It is.
I
Oh my
can't
gosh,
fucking
Brendan.
wait.
We talked about this.
I'm so
Do not
sorry.
say
I'm
the name
so
of the Fart
sorry.
Sniffers.
Oh God.
We did not get Fart Sniffer approval on this, man.
LFFS.
On your note, yeah. So when I was on Nickelodeon, all that was such a perfect marriage of television and live theater because it was sketch comedy, and we would film in front of a live audience every Friday. So some of the sketches that were too complex to do in front of a live audience, we would film on Thursday, but then Friday evening we would bring in just like a truckload of children, fill them full of sugar, and then just sit them in front of us while we did sketches. So
amazing.
Because it was a TV show and it was filmed, if you messed up a line, you could still go back and redo it, but yet it felt like theater because you had an audience and you could play to them and you could improv and, instant reaction of if a joke landed, right? Like you deliver a joke that sounded really good in rehearsal, but if the kids didn't laugh, like, hey, writers, let's have a quick powwow. Let's change this up, and then give the kids a couple different options. And once they start howling, laughing, then you're like, okay, that's the one. But yeah, I mean, it was just even from a young age, just especially when you're on a popular TV show and everybody in the audience is like a massive fan of you already. Like you just have them in the palm of your hand. Like you can just look at them and like make a weird face and they just start laughing, right?
Yes,
so like I think that has contributed to me like, okay, well, I'm gonna put on a show. Like anytime I'm on stage in front of an audience, like
absolutely.
You don't want to just see like, your neighbor on stage is like being normal. I'm like, I'm gonna be insane like every time I'm on stage. But that's sure it came from that. Yeah.
But that's what we're here to do. We're putting on a show. We're giving a performance,
Totally, man. But yeah, no, I definitely think it came from the Nickelodeon days of just like, if you're gonna be on stage, man, make it a thing. Make it a show.
Make it a thing.
Yeah. I was spoiled on Nickelodeon again because they already knew me and they were already a fan of the show. They were eating out of my hand. But I got to tell you, the venues where I have to win the audience over, I like those sometimes even more because then I will go into the crowd and I will sit next to the person who's not paying attention and be like, what are you looking at on your phone? Can I watch? You watching Netflix? Let's watch it. I'm not going to do this next song. Let's do it together. And then I make them my friend. Like I'll go out. I like winning an audience over. It's a nice challenge for me. So yeah.
I think that's great though. Some bands are just like stand in place and execute. But I think we have a bigger job to do than that. I think we should be moving around on stage and putting on a show. And I don't want to offend Dream Theater or anything because I kind of do that. You know what I mean? But I know there is like people.
They got to count, dude. They're sitting there.
They have to concentrate. Like there's prowess, there's room for flex as the art of itself. But I do think like entertaining the audience is very important, and I think it's a huge part, and we should be doing it.
I have Dream Theater on my keys.
Oh, you do? Oh my God, that's so dope. I love Dream Theater.
It's my moment.
By the way, disclaimer,
fantastic.
I love Dream Theater, so very good.
But Portnoy, if you could move a little bit more,
just
on
move around,
stage.
man.
Just move around on stage a little bit more.
Get a Tommy
you
Lee.
just sit in one spot the whole time, bro.
Get a half disco ball outfit.
You need to
People
move.
will love it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start diving into some Yarlers. We're gonna dive into. I feel like Jarl had many phases.
We're gonna take a visit to Jarlsberg.
We're gonna go to Jarl. Yeah. There was like early Jarl, and then peak Jarl, and then.
Hey everyone, Mary Z from Voicehacks here to tell you about the website platform that I use, the software that I use to help me organize my online vocal lessons. And I've used it for years. It's called simplybook.me. If you're a music teacher and you're trying to organize your lessons online, this is a great software for you. It can help you organize all of your services and classes, even those with international students. This is my booking website. So it's a website and booking platform. I can show people my reviews. They can book their classes and services as well as their online Zoom lessons. They can look at everything in their own local time zone throughout the world. So my availability is just set and it will display for them in the local time zone. So if you're interested in this, visit simplybook.me via my link below in the description of this video, and you will get a free trial.
Jarl and then post Jarl slash
and Jarl's Barkley. You
And
know,
then Attack of the
post
Jarl.
Jarl / corporate Jarl.
Return of the Jarl. A new
do
Jarl.
you guys remember? So for anybody who doesn't know
Jarl
what
Minutes.
yarling is, or if you're like a little too young to remember like this vocal technique from rock, because people are actually getting too young to know what this is. We're going to start by referencing the Mad TV parody of it.
Yes, dude.
Because it pretty much exactly shows what was happening. But this is like from 2001 or 2002, and the Jarl, the post Jarl and corporate Jarl goes on for a little while. It goes on to like 2005, and that kind of surprised me. His early Jarl, I feel like, starts around 92. So let's take a look at this and remind ourselves. This is what yarling is, if anyone doesn't know.
Did Taryn kill him? Oh my God, it's Taryn.
Where I want to be. If I go, you'll freak out. 'Cause I'm the only one you see. Hey,
Will Sasso's the best, dude.
The best. Totally the best.
It's really not far from Michael McDonald.
Oh, Michael McDonald's the OG. Oh my gosh. The guitar player on the water is killing me too. Eddie Vedder.
Oh, they're fighting.
They have a Jarl fight.
He punched him, but then they bonded. Oh, nope, they're not.
He's gonna have to
going
go back to Jarlsberg.
Oh!
Yeah.
So finally, it's just me. I was the first to sound like this. That's bull crap.
So Mad TV, calls Ray Charles the original Yarler.
Okay.
I can't really say they're wrong.
That sounds about.
How I say.
So, there's that. There's the Mad TV Yarling. I actually forgot about that band when I was looking up stuff for this video. The Calling. I get them confused with Lifehouse so much. No.
How hard are these singers trying to do this, and how many of them like actually sound like that? Right?
Okay.
That's my question.
So when they brought out Eddie Vedder, this is exactly what is going on. I think the people who just naturally sounded like that, and I think it was really honestly just like the shape of their face and their sinuses, was Eddie Vedder and Lane Staley. And I think
Scott, have you heard Scott Stapp talk though? He kind of talks like this a little bit.
yeah, but you know what? His singing is a lot less yarly now, and it sounds
with
really
age.
quite good. All you have to do is like push your jaw forward a little bit and not open your mouth very much, and you get.
We both started doing it.
I'm but what,
Lisa, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
what I think is the best when you sing these Yarler songs without yarling. And the reason is because they sound much better. Like a lot of great songs. But the problem is when you do the Jarl thing, it does color it, does give it character, but it also works against your natural resonance really hard. So you think it's resonating, but it's actually doing a thing called overcovering where it's kind of killing your resonance a little bit. So lately, I got to do a different key than those guys, even though my voice is obscenely low, So lately, it really covers my so lately. You just do some grit and it sounds like a lot better
Yeah,
if I
interesting.
don't do that.
I really think it was just like lack of maybe they didn't have a lot of vocal training.
That's what I
Absolutely.
was just gonna
They were
say.
on
Absolutely.
a ton
They're
of
covering
drugs.
it a little
They were
bit.
like, they're shooting up heroin, so they're sitting there. He's like, so lately.
Well, I think that guy, the guy from The Calling, is corporate Jarl, so I don't think he was doing drugs. But
Lane definitely fucking
Lane
was.
definitely
I mean,
was.
you could hear the
Obviously.
heroin in his voice. Like the dude was just,
it was out of control.
it was still amazing.
And you wouldn't believe how young some of these guys are. When I was looking up Days of the New, which is So we're talking about Yarlers, worst offenders. Definitely Days of the New goes in there. But they're so fucking young. So like you said, no training, just listening to stuff, imitating stuff. They were like 17 when this stuff came out, and I just couldn't believe that.
I'm like, is that a Underworld music video? What is that?
Underworld.
Is that from the? That looked like what's
Kate
her face?
Beckinsale?
Yeah,
We're gonna watch Days of the New.
it looks like it's like music video for the movie kind of thing.
It's music for werewolves.
I don't think so. We're gonna probably do like a verse and a chorus.
We both
I
thought
thought
that
the
was
guy
Kate
was-
Beckinsale.
He looks
Travis
like
Meeks? You guys
think
Kate
Travis
Beckinsale.
Poster.
Looks
He's
like Kate
sitting there
Beckinsale?
looking like he's about
Dude,
to kill
it
vampires.
so does. You're 100%
That
right.
is incredible. So today we learned Travis Meeks looks like Kate Beckinsale. With that mustache, or? A lot of Jarl here. Full Jarl. We're at peak Jarl here.
I'm all about it.
I love this band though, a lot.
Also, it's groovy and it's heavy, and they're using acoustic
Instruments.
and it's
The
still
only
heavy.
band to do that. Only band I've ever seen do
Drummers
that.
playing at full fucking.
Interesting.
and they're like,
Yep. Full drums with
Yeah,
all
yeah.
acoustic instruments.
Crazy.
And not an upright bass, an acoustic bass guitar. So we remember this one. So these guys couldn't get enough of the Jarl. Do you know about the Days of the New and Tantric?
No.
They're essentially like the same band. They did the acoustic instruments in Days of the New with the singer Travis Meeks, and then he was really on drugs and stuff. Everybody said he got a lot of fame fast. He's still alive. He's like a little bit older than me. He's like 46, I think. But I don't think he's done much since then. I think he kind of had a lot of substance problems. This is kind of what I read. I don't know if that's true or not. They got together with a different singer, this guy Hugo Ferreira. I'm trying to say it. It's like a Portuguese name, Ferreira. I think a lot of Americans will say like Hugo Ferreira or something, but that's not how it's spelled. They made that band Tantric.
We played a few shows with them when
Okay.
we were on tour with Smile Empty Soul,
Oh,
who also kind of Yarls too. He kind of Yarls a little bit, but it's really good.
I like that song, Bottom of the Bottle.
Also, I just want to commend you for dealing with mine and Lisa's ADHD, and you're really
Yeah, you're very
you're
brave. for having
handling this
both of
podcast
us.
so well.
Oh, I can handle it.
We will derail it immediately. There's
I'm like,
so many times in your podcast where I'm like two things and I explain one thing.
You never get the
and
second one.
I don't get this.
Nope.
It's suddenly a different subject.
It's the
Totally
story of
different.
my life, though.
Yeah.
If you talk to my Zoom students, they'd be like, "Oh no, you do that all the time. You don't explain. Like you drift off, and then we go back to exercises."
Well, it's funky. I like it.
Really cool guitar playing and everything still, but they went to electric instruments with Tantric as well. They didn't keep the. There's some like acoustic layering in there or something, but this guy's the most Jarl.
It's awesome.
Of all the Yarlers, I think he's the most.
But he's not yarling his mouth. Maybe it's just for the music video.
Yeah, it could be because
He's like,
the music video,
Yeah.
he doesn't really look like he's singing.
he's going, you never took the time.
Yeah, he looks like he's
but
talking.
He's like, yeah, what's
I would have never put that voice with that face. Like, he kind of looks like a pretty boy.
Yeah.
But he's got this, like, harsh Charlie voice.
That's Jarl Harmonies. Yarl
Wow.
That was a Jarl.
That's Yarmonies, bro.
New band name, Yarmonies.
Jarlmany. You can't find a reason why. But yeah, Hugo's. I would say so. Like
We're the
this,
jocks picking on the nerd. Yeah.
high school in the '90s
we
was
look like
rough,
we're
man.
35.
Dude, we did. But like, dude, how is my generation the ones that we did look like we were 35 in high school and we look like we're 35 when we're 50?
What kind of magic is that?
Yeah,
did-
I'm
how did-
aging like milk. What the fuck?
What is happening, guys? So. For you check He's really into it. I know.
I'm
He's
the
got a
dad
little
with the
vibrato.
briefcase. I have a
I
suit.
know.
I work a corporate job.
Corporate dad. This guy's having problems. No one else is living this way.
Bass player's like, I've got short hair, so they don't show me a lot.
I like the drummer's braids.
But when I think like peak Jarl, it's Days of the New and Tantric for me, because this is around 1998, 1999. The trend hits like in the early 90s when everyone's copying,
Bush.
Bush.
Right,
it was,
STP?
STP
Yeah.
for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I
Yeah.
ever tried to do the Jarl is when there was like a couple STP songs on, was it Rock Band?
Oh,
In
yeah,
the
yeah,
old
yeah.
video game, and I'd
Oh,
have the
yes.
mic, and like everybody wanted to play fucking tripping the hole in the paper. What is it? Tripping a paper hole in the heart. Tripping
You
on
could-
the
you could
paper
say-
hole in your heart.
Tripping on a hole in a
Tripping on a
paper-
hole in it. That's the
I
one.
don't know. I don't know.
You could say any order and I just believe you.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I was there and I don't know.
that's like the first time I remember like they handed me the mic and they're like, "We want to do this song," and I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, four Budweisers deep, just like trying to do, the whole thing. And I
Great
was
thing
like,
about that with Rock Band, I eventually figured out you could just make any noise, and as long
Yes,
as it was in key,
yes.
so I just go 100%, 100%,
system.
motherfuckers. Yeah,
dude, yes.
We're going to
I
check
miss
out
that so much.
one
Miss
more
Rock Band.
Jarl. And this Jarl is post Jarl, what I call corporate Jarl. I feel like afterwards, like corporations were like, in the early 2000s, they were like, make your voice like this so we can sell records. And I think that's where we got this band, The Calling, which was also a bunch of incredibly young guys. I mean, maybe these guys will watch the podcast again, like, these people are out there. Some of them, who, for all I know, we might know some of them. Some of them live in Vegas. I don't know. They might hit me up and be like, no, actually, we decided to Jarl all on our own. Right. But to me, this is corporate Jarl. So
interesting.
let's take a look at corporate. This is a song they were
Corporate makes money.
parodying on the Mad TV. So
I loved this song when I was 10. When did this come out?
2001.
I was 11.
You were
like Aaron
11
Carter.
in 2001.
This song understood me. This song,
I'm just trying to let it sink in that you were 11.
when
in
I
2000.
when I met that random girl in the McDonald's play place, I would have gone wherever she would have gone, dude. I'm telling you, I was 11. It wasn't recent.
She share her,
I was
her
11.
nuggies with you?
This guy's not 11, but
We
he is
exchanged
young.
toys.
I can't get over how young this guy is.
Yeah, it looks like
My hair also looked like that.
Blonde,
I had the lover boy haircut from the
the
90s.
butt cut,
I
the
had
bowl butt cut.
Oh yeah, the butt cut. You will go way up
This is such a banger for real though.
down low. She's like, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm getting a tattoo for you.
She's like, for
Tattoo.
you, baby.
Rip the
Shit,
page.
that's a horrible tattoo. What a horrible tattoo.
Her dad's gonna kill
that
her.
font is ugly
Really
as
bad.
hell.
She's like, what are you doing on my roof, dude?
Oh my goodness.
Why are you singing?
He's a golden god.
Could you imagine making out with
See, this
somebody in
is
your
where I
bed and
think
somebody's
the-
like, you're like,
Where's
who's on
that
the
coming from?
fucking roof?
There a guy on the roof?
And they're in the bed.
My
Like they
stupid
show the
ex
sex
comes
scene
out
and
and
then the
just
guy on
sings
the
on my
roof.
roof.
And they're like, she's like, I just got your name tattooed. This guy's like, if I could.
What if the girl was
Unbelievable.
actually Josh?
Then
They don't tell us.
So like,
Oh, very progressive of you.
there's like
Way
a.
up high.
There's a lot of like
Smash
he's
it.
doing a lot with his like tongue though. He's going like if I could, I would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's doing a lot to like.
We gotta watch a live video. Like, is this a music video singing? Right? Because we should watch.
Right, yeah.
Let's watch Fuel after this. Because Brett Skyens was also like he sings like softly at the camera, but he's like live loudly down in my. But he's like,
All right, we need a
Right.
a live video. Should we look up Fuel live?
Yeah, I see.
And yeah, because I agree with you. Like live is where we're gonna see what's going
let's
on.
look up old school Fuel though when Brett was in the band.
Yeah, of course. Something from the OG.
Yeah.
Hemorrhage live.
Hemorrhage. Yeah.
We're gonna
I'm
go
all
ahead
excited.
and hear about some. And
Congrats again to Kyle for that new band.
let's check it out.
See, totally different. He's singing
right,
almost
yep.
through his teeth like Jonathan Davis.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta close your jaw. See how he's
Yes.
not opening his mouth? That actually makes it so much harder.
Almost like Kurt Cobain. Almost.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's doing with his throat
Yeah.
and his teeth and nose.
And he's
Like-
going.
Yeah.
And even the guy in the audience is like, yeah.
I was just gonna say, I wish they cut to all the girls. The girls were like,
Because he's like, leave love bleeding in. But some of it, in fairness to him, is the way his mouth is shaped. What were you laughing at, the dude?
Go back.
Okay, yeah.
Go back. That guy was like, yeah.
No, I didn't know people were that gaga over Fuel. Okay, here we go. I love Fuel though. Actually, I can play Shimmer on the piano.
I fucking, dude, I love Fuel. Like that was also like 10-year-old Brendan was like, they get it.
That guy's insane.
That was fucking Tooth
Some
McGee
of
right
this,
there,
though,
dude.
some of
Holy
this,
shit.
I think this guy just kind of has like a wider face and kind of just does that. Some of it is the style, but some of it is just he's just doing that.
It's so cool,
It's
yeah.
just how he is. But I absolutely love Fuel. I'm actually a really big fan. I love bands like this.
Yep.
That was a lot less Yarly.
Yeah.
But all there he's
Yeah, with those front teeth, that's interesting.
That's why the studio video.
That bass player's like, I've got a backwards head.
I
Yeah.
always tell people check out live videos too because you can't hear all the layering on the studio, like the millions of layers
Oh, yeah.
and takes, you know. So anyway,
I always did the I love doing the Pete Steele one, right?
yeah.
You do a left, you do a right, put a little delay on it, and then for the chorus you put a middle with the left and right.
Absolutely.
It's perfect.
It's
That's
perfect.
my favorite layering.
You guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I wish I had more time to talk to you guys, or this will go on like forever. But I think
We'll have to do it again sometime.
I think we've reached the end of our allotment here. But you know, I would love to do more with you guys. You
Yeah,
guys
we'd
are
love that.
amazing, and I'm gonna, of course, pimp you out all of his channels. So everybody, does Nocturnal Affair have any tours coming up that people should be aware of? Tell us about
We
your
do.
tours.
The ones I can talk about. This November, we're going to be going out to the UK once more. I can't wait, with Wednesday 13 and the Soap
Yes.
Girls. So if you
Sick.
haven't heard of the Soap Girls, they're
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool too.
Really cool.
So yeah, Wednesday 13, always fantastic to tour
Yeah.
with them.
Love him.
And Kyle isn't leaving just yet, so he'll be on that tour with us. He's one of the most professional musicians we've
Love
ever
Kyle.
worked with, and even his exit is absolutely professional. We're training somebody new, and it'll be a lot of fun. So this will be your last chance to see Kyle in the UK with the Nocturnal Affair. So definitely check
So
that out.
cool.
And then we're releasing another single. We're releasing a ballad this winter, and Lisa is in the music video. Actually, so yeah.
How exciting! Oh, I can't wait to see that. And then when does your song come out that you recorded with Fat Mike?
I am not sure when that Codef album comes out, but it's such a killer album.
Yeah.
The Codef has kind of almost created their own music genre where it's like punk, but it's got some rap and it's got some ska and it's got some like singing in Spanish and like with Mexican guitar,
Wow.
like the whole thing. Yeah, so I'm not sure when that's coming out. And it also was such an honor to be in the trilogy of the music videos for Nocturnal.
Yeah.
If you once the
Can't
third one
wait.
is out, you're going to be able to kind of see like the through line. There's like a storyline from beginning to end, and if you kind of watch, you can see like this relationship between these two people and. They're against each other, and then at the end, it's like it's emotional. It's like it's a very, very cool story arc that they've created, and
And then she takes off the mask, and she was me the whole time.
I was you the whole
She,
time.
Lisa was
It's a
Brendan.
fight club. It's a
No.
fight club
Scooby-Dooed?
situation.
You Scooby-Dooed?
Totally.
You Scooby-Dooed the situation?
And I would have gone away with it too if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, if it
I
wasn't
don't-
for me.
Wait, what the fuck?
What? Tyler
they-
Durden?
That's pretty dark.
But if it works out, in October, the Misfits, who I am very tight with.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with
Yes,
them?
yes. Mhm.
So for anybody who's not, they're this amazing, like comedic and tight cover band that plays half Smith songs and half Misfits songs, and they do some mashups of both of them.
So cool.
And it's such a genius idea because their shows attract the metalhead boyfriends and then who listen to Misfits and their
Yeah.
girlfriends
And the
who
guys'
listen to the
girlfriends.
Smiths.
Yeah,
The
of
girls go
course.
crazy for the Smith songs and the guys go crazy for the Misfit songs. But every time they come through town, they pull me up on stage to do some songs with them. And they asked me and my new band to open up for them at Dive Bar on October 17th.
Oh, exciting.
But
I'll
I
be
need
there.
a
I'll be
bass
there.
player, and I'm
Hey.
trying to convince Brendan to play the show with me.
Oh my God,
Play the show.
that sounds great.
Let's
do
do
it.
it, man.
Let's do it.
Let's lock
Do
it
it,
in.
my
I
friend.
also forgot to mention we have a local show December 12th.
Yes.
Promote the local
Go.
show,
All
yes.
right, so Vegas people, get out to Vegas and come see both of these guys. In the UK, get out and see Brendan. Subscribe to the Temperamental Podcast.
Yes.
Follow Lisa and follow Brendan and the Nocturnal Affair and all their projects and everything so that you know when it's coming out. You know what it is. Check out all their stuff. Thank you guys so much. I cannot thank you enough.
No, thank you.
Thank
it's
you.
the pleasure. The pleasure is ours. Thank you. For
I really
having us.
appreciate you guys.
Thank you for
Thank you.
And a merry Jarl to you.
Darling.
Hey everybody, it's me, vocal coach Mary Z. Some of you might remember this video that I made about low voices. I got a lot of commentary on something that I want to take a deep dive into today, and that's the concept of something called voice type versus vocal range. Why do I make a difference, and why knowing your vocal range is truly a voice hack. All right, so a lot of you know me mainly for extreme vocals, whether it's me as a performer or as a vocal coach and vocal instructor. But the background to all of that and my primary thing is actually singing, clean singing. Some of the comments I was getting on the other video where I sort of broke down the vocal ranges the way that I see them was from people who clearly had like classical training or formal vocal training outside of modern styles. There were a lot of comments left about voice type. Voice type is something that people do in classical singing primarily, but sometimes we see it in more theatrical or formal singing. It's not our vocal choir placement, by the way. We'll get to that in a little bit. But voice type is more of an artistic, it's not really scientific at all. It's an artistic way of classifying the tone color of someone's voice and their note range together as a total package. This is because singing is not just a science, it's an art. And long before it was a science, it was more of an art because we didn't really know that much about what's going on in here. And a lot of the ways that we would traditionally classify voices with old classical parameters set are coming from subjective things like what subjectively your tone color of your voice might be, which tone color or timbre is just what makes you sound you. We'll get into that a little bit more in a second, but that can be pretty subjective. And then matching that tone color within one of the major vocal ranges. And there's different classification systems that do this, but I find those things to be way more confusing than helpful. And also, they don't translate to my modern singers, my rock and metal singers that I'm coaching every day. It doesn't really work for them. Color is always going to be there. So tone color is what makes you sound like you, what makes someone sound like them. And you can kind of look at it as bright to dark. You could look at my voice being a little bit warmer or darker, whereas somebody like an Ariana Grande, a much brighter, sharper tone to her voice. And that's outside of vocal range. But if we looked at people with all of the same vocal range, let's take three sopranos, for example, and we listened to Celine Dion, Kelly Clarkson, and Mariah Carey all sing the same song. Even if it was in the same key and they're singing with their same belter style, we would definitely be able to tell which one of them is singing. And that, us being able to tell, is their natural tone or timbre. What I've found in my 25 years of teaching people, and I know that seems like a really long time to a lot of you guys, but I take this time to remind you that I'm a little bit older than you may think I am. I'm 43, and I used to not tell people how old I was, but I do that now because you guys don't understand how I know certain things or how I can have this big of a data sampling of students. And I've had hundreds of vocal clients, and which is essentially a giant data sampling of study. So I have taken all of those students as far as I can get them in their vocal ranges. And we each do have a set vocal range where it's going to max out. And this has to do with physics of singing. And my modern singers do not benefit from voice typing. They benefit from vocal range because color is still there, but we're not going to determine our repertoire on it. And it doesn't seem to affect where our belt break, AKA chest voice, which I actually dislike that term a lot, but I'm going to use it sometimes so you guys can take my terms and have them make more sense to you. That chest or belt voice, we have a break. It's a subset of our range, and that is the primary reason why modern singers can't relate to classical voice typing. It's fine if you want to call yourself whatever. Just to preface my breakdown here, this is what my data sampling has told me and what I found effective with my vocal clients. But again, it's just as much art as it is science. So if you have a different way you want to think about it and classify it any way that you want, or you have a different way you teach, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So I would love to keep the attitude here on my channel of we're going to just tamp down some of the vitriol artists get when they argue with each other on the internet, especially in the vocal community. There seems to be a lot of that. And it really doesn't need to be that way. We can learn from each other, and not one way is the way. But this is what my data sampling of all of my students has shown me that the majority of human beings can work with. We really want to keep away from exceptions. So we're going to look at the way that I look at it, which is vocal range. Range over color, always. Range over timbre, not style. Style can be our belt, aka chest voice, what I call our mixed voice, one of our 2 type of head voices, or our vertical placement. So if you're not sure what I mean by that, check out some of my tutorials on this channel about singing style and placement. I think that will make things a little bit different, but that is only based on certain things that are happening physiologically to us. We each have a range, period, because of physiology. Why can't I just take my voice and make it higher? I'm a vocal coach, right? Shouldn't I know how to do that? Well, I can sing my own high notes just fine relative to me with my vocal cords, but I can't take the whole vocal range and transpose it up, because your vocal cords, also called vocal folds, are really 3-dimensional string physics at play. They're beholden to those rules just like all other stringed instrument, only it's a pretty fascinating stringed instrument because it's vibrated with wind, and we're controlling it through these abstract thoughts that lengthen and shorten our chords to different pitches without us even really directly thinking about it in that sense, the way we would with our hands when we play an instrument. We would fret or pluck the strings and change the pitch by changing the length, fretting it usually. And so we don't do that with our vocal cords, although they're doing that. When we can't really feel them. You can't really feel your true vocal folds or true vocal cords. Otherwise, you would feel a lot of, similar to what we feel in harsh vocals and extreme vocals, itchy, scratchy vibrations when we have sound waves going through there. But anyway, the point is that they have a set length and width by the time that you're an adult. Your vocal range is separate from your timbre because your range is going to be based on the length and width that your vocal cords grew to, and the typical max capacity of those set of chords. And then timbre and tone color is just, whether it's bright or dark or whatever, is going to be based on the rest of your shape, the resonant cavities, the way that you're shaped physiologically. I divide the categories by sex, and we have female and male voice types, and they overlap in the middle to where it doesn't necessarily matter which of the selections you use, but it does give us a context of where they are relative, and that will also play a role. So we're going to go through and talk about that. What I've discovered overall is that most human beings have the capacity to get 3 to 3.5 total octaves with training, of course. You're not going to get that singing along with the radio in your living room unless you're really, really challenging yourself, but that their chords can pretty much stretch that far, 3 to 3.5 total octaves. And then usually our belt register, aka chest voice, that we use in our rock singing or pretty much all modern non-classical genres, that voice, that's a subset of our total range, which usually maxes out at 2 to 2.5 octaves of our total vocal range. We definitely have to train to get there. It's like it's like saying your arms have the potential to lift this much weight without modifying your body with some sort of steroids. Well, obviously they can't lift that much weight day one, right? So it's the same thing, but there is a max. There's not, the reason I can't change my vocal range to become a soprano is because I cannot change the shape of my vocal cords and the pitches with which they will phonate. And you'll see that because there's a point at which we can't get to no matter how much we practice. It gives us an idea of, okay, I know about how much I could work towards, and which songs I will never get, low or high. There's some bass things that are out of my range. There's soprano things that are out of my physical capacity as a vocalist, that no matter how much you train, you cannot reach those notes. I mean, you can stretch and stretch and stretch, but there's still a physiological limit. Most people who are exceptions, which obviously do exist, people like Dimash, Corey Taylor, Mike Patton, Diamanda Galas, people with 4 or 5 octaves. These type of people do exist, but they are physiological exceptions. Just like when you have physiological exceptions in athletes and stuff, you can have a bunch of professional athletes, but if one has, just an extra inch of height or an extra physical feature that's allowing them to perform slightly better than the rest of the pros, they're going to be the best of the best. And oftentimes, famous people with exceptional ranges we're fixating on, but I have had almost no exceptional, like as far as how far their voice physiology could take them in real life lessons. And I only know one person in real life who has an actual 5 octave vocal range. This is something that can and does happen, but most of you will get to 3.5 octaves. I actually had someone take lessons and say, I've sing 3.5 octaves, and no matter how much I practice, it doesn't go any further. And I was like, well, that's because unfortunately, that's typically it, for most human beings. But that's a huge amount of range. And believe it or not, that's the amount of range that many of our favorite singers have had that seem like they have really wide ranges because they're just really, really functional at using it and they're not afraid to explore it. Or they had vocal training that made them access it and help them get at the full length of their chords. So you'll see people take vocal lessons and say, oh, well, my range expanded by like 2 octaves. Maybe, sort of. It was always there within your potential, but you definitely had to train to access it. Most people won't ever have the opportunity to say, though, I expanded my vocal range to 5, 6 octaves. It can't extend indefinitely. It's physics. And so unfortunately, even for someone like me who has an unusual voice, imagine if I was trying to sing really, really high like Ann Wilson in the same style on the same note, like in my belt voice. I don't think I can do that, right? I can't access those songs in the same way, in the same key with the chords that I have. Just like she can't access the same lows. So just to be clear, our vocal range, it's always transposed. You don't get the highs with the high voice and the lows, unfortunately. Same thing with the low voice. Everything is just going to be transposed. But what does it mean if we all have around the same amount of range access, but just starting and ending at different points on the piano? That's actually liberating, not limiting. That means that if you get used to the key and understanding key signatures and moving the key of a song up or down and what your own vocal range is, then you can have a lot more success at putting songs in the correct key for your voice. And this may change as you're training. As you get access to more of your belt register on the high end, you might notice you don't have to transpose down as far anymore. This happens. So this may also change as your skill changes a little bit, but your overall vocal range isn't going to change. Again, going back to the concept of choir doesn't equal your voice type when you're accessing 3.5 octaves of notes, you could probably sing several parts in choir, which I have done, including soprano, which I am definitely not a soprano. So whatever your voice type was in choir, don't assume that that's your vocal range. A lot of those notes are in overlap ranges, and many, many of us could fill in many parts in a choir. Let's take a look at the vocal ranges. So for starting with women, going from the top down, and the way you're going to find out if you can't access your full vocal range right away, the way that you find out what you are is by your lowest note. I can almost always get people either with my vocal exercises or through my lessons to come down to their lowest note
just even on day one, within the first couple of lessons. Really work with some of my exercises and see how low you can go. We're going to be using a standard reference here where middle C is C4. And also be careful. Some MIDI programs will assign that to a different number. And so you want to make sure that when you're looking at things and comparing notes, what I have here, that middle C, nah, this note is C4, okay? And then we change the numbers at C, not A and B. I don't know why we do that, but it's just what we do. Probably because visually it makes more sense when you look at a piano. And so it's not going to be, when we say A3, it's the note right below middle C. C4, B3, A3, okay? So just so like we're clear on what's going on, what do I mean by this? Coloratura sopranos is going to be our highest, okay? And again, classical people who want to use voice typing, get out of here. We're going to be thinking only in terms of modern vocals and being very strict with range, okay? Coloratura, these are high voice sopranos who may only actually have about 3 total singing octaves and an octave and a half of belt range. You're going to start.
Hey everyone, Mary Z from Voicehacks here to tell you about the website platform that I use, the software that I use to help me organize my online vocal lessons. And I've used it for years. It's called simplybook.me. If you're a music teacher and you're trying to organize your lessons online, this is a great software for you. It can help you organize all of your services and classes, even those with international students. This is my booking website. So it's a website and booking platform. I can show people my reviews. They can book their classes and services as well as their online Zoom lessons. They can look at everything in their own local time zone throughout the world. So my availability is just set and it will display for them in the local time zone. So if you're interested in this, visit simplybook.me via my link below in the description of this video, and you will get a free trial. Your lowest note is probably middle C, starting here. And then you can probably train to belt all the way up to your octave and a half, which is G5, which that seems kind of crazy for those of us with low voices. But when we go back and listen, that's only an octave and a half from this person's lowest note. And most belt ranges are 2 to 2.5 octaves. So it's not that crazy when you actually have a high voice. And when you listen to some people like Celine Dion and Kelly Clarkson, you can hear them actually belting Ann Wilson, notes like that. Not head voicing, not mixing, belting, using their full voice. That's the subset. And then the total vocal range will probably go up to somewhere like G6 or A6, which would be something like here, where you're going to be able to be singing a lot of whistle tones, you know. So this is somebody I would say like an Ariana Grande. Mariah Carey falls into the exception category. She has more octaves than typical, which is also part of why she's super famous. Her lowest note extends beyond. If any of you fall into the exception and you end up getting more, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. I will take people as far as they can go, but I'm telling you, most people just don't go farther than these things. So it just gives you realistic expectations. So if we go down a little bit further, we're gonna look at regular soprano. Regular soprano is actually most women's voices, and most of you will probably be able to get your belt or chest voice to extend down to maybe G or F below middle C. G or F3. Nay, nay, nay. That's probably about as low as you can go. If that, a lot of classical repertoire doesn't go, for sopranos in general, doesn't go below middle C. And then when we're looking at that, the belt range is the same. You're only getting a couple extra notes on the low end. Your highest belt capacity potential could end up at G5, and then probably not as many whistle tones, probably ending your range around F6. Regular sopranos. And then mezzo sopranos, don't let that hyphen to soprano. Mezzo sopranos are what most people call altos. It's just called that. So you really want to call yourself a mezzo. But a lot of people are just going to call you an alto. And a mezzo could have a really dark tone color as well and use their low voice, you know. So it's really, really unusual to be someone like me who's a little bit below mezzo. Mezzo also overlaps. We're going to talk about the male voice types here with countertenor. So mezzo and countertenor are going to be the same. And countertenors would be our super high male voices like Chester Bennington, but I'm thinking a little bit more like Geddy Lee, Justin Timberlake, The Weeknd, all of these guys, Robert Plant. In metal, I think these are guys like Sam Carter. I think he's more of a countertenor than a tenor. But people like the guy from Northlane, Good Tiger, voices like this. So these people usually can't sing below C3. So this is for mezzo sopranos and countertenors. Da, that's C3. D3, C3. So it's usually D3. A lot of mezzos, it's D. That's usually where it ends down there. And I mean, that's pretty low on the piano. It will sound really low and husky in their voice, but they're not like really true altos. And for the male voice type, that's going to feel like a soprano, like relative to guys. It really isn't. But it's the highest male voice type, and it's going to sound like that. And so then the belt range, we can typically train to belt. I've had my mezzos trained to about E, usually E5. I cannot belt that. D5, E5 is usually what we're looking for our belt max, which is usually more like just over 2 octaves if we're going from C to E or something. Occasionally, one of my mezzos has actually eked out a belt F5, but the classification we're going to base on that low note there. And again, many of people will call you altos, but a lot of mezzos, we have mezzos like Lady Gaga, Rihanna, and Adele, but then we also have mezzos like Courtney LaPlante, Tatiana from Ginger, mezzos using sort of their low register as well, like Shirley Manson from Garbage and Taylor Momsen from Pretty Reckless. Annie Lennox also. This is where the color is dark and it's kind of playing tricks on our ears. But again, we want to go range over color in modern music because of that belt break, because it's going to make a big difference, unfortunately. We are going to go down to contralto, where I live, and which is overlaps with regular tenor. And guys, which is most high voice guys are regular tenor. So contraltos and regular tenors can typically sing down below C3 on a very consistent basis, daily basis. Here's C3. Da, 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 da. There we are getting to da, da, da. G3 there, or G2, I'm sorry, G2 there. It's not super strong. I would say my consistent low is A2. So most of you, if you're a regular tenor or a contralto, you're going to get to at least an A2 on a daily basis. You might also have days where you get between G2 and F2. Wow, I managed to get that one out today. That was crazy. So that's really where it ends. Any lower than that, we're looking at bass baritone. There are no female voice types lower than that. Although the Guinness record for lowest female voice, I think, is like D2 or D sharp 2, which would actually be baritone, so like a super contralto. At that point, I would just say baritone. But tenor and contralto, you can train to belt up to C5, maybe D5. So I've done it, and that's, again, my full belt, aka chest voice. After that, we're going to have to start flipping, and usually our whole octaves can end all the way up at C6. Someone who's a contralto, it's density over length in the chords that's going to make it low. So I feel like C6 is not very accessible to me unless I've been stretching my folds a lot. It's usually B5 where my total range ends. Once in a while I can eke out a C6. And that's usually going to be it. And again, tenor, that's your falsetto going all the way up. But usually, like, your performable notes will be just a slightly lower than that. You're not going to perform up to your most highest note. And then basses and baritones, surprisingly, you're going to have the same lowest note on the bottom here, probably around C2 or D2. I can't sing those notes. When we're looking at that, the difference is, again, sort of like a density of the vocal cords. So basses, you're going to have sort of a shortened register, as more like 3 octaves, about 2 octaves of belting. I notice it caps out about middle C. And then your falsetto or your head voice or the rest of your register is going to go up to probably only C5. And then when we're talking about baritones, you could actually belt all the way up. It's going to be 2.5 octaves, all the way up to A4. You can train to go all the way up there. That'll be very, very high for you. So you probably would sing a little lower than that. But I've heard a lot of baritone songs that hover around the middle C area, C to F or C to G. And you get a lot of high baritone stuff there. It is high though for them. That'd be your physical max usually most of the time. And then when we get to the falsetto area, you're probably going to be maxing out around F5, maybe G5. If you end up having a wider range than that, then you are in truly overlapping and can do both. You are one of the exceptions. It's not very common though. And I'm not saying that to discourage you guys. I'm actually saying that to encourage you, because if we always try to go out for exceptional, we have to realize most of the singers we see don't actually have that exceptional physiology and are operating with much more reasonable limitations, even if they're impressive or artistically diverse or whatever. We have to realize, okay, we can do this. If this is within range. And then we realize, for me, for example, a good example is like, if I want to cover songs by In This Moment, where Maria Brink is clearly a soprano, it's really hard for me to match, almost impossible for me to match the same belt tones in the same place. Not on every note exactly, but on the high notes. Okay. So what I usually like to do is I like to transpose their songs way down, like a third, pretty far. Don't let how far you have to go, because my voice is way on the opposite end of her voice, right? So I'm going to transpose it down quite a bit to do it in a better key where I can hit the notes in the same style relative to me. And the audience just doesn't perceive a lot of the things like that. The musicians are on stage generally, not in the audience. And the more famous someone is and the more professional someone is, the more I see stuff like this where the key is changed, not less. You can change it from where you recorded it with your band to where you perform it live. Everybody has to be on the same page, but with technology, this is a pretty easy thing to accomplish. And we see this a lot. I've seen a lot of covers of these K-pop Demon Hunter songs, which were so high to begin with. They might have been tuned like artificially high, where it's super unrealistic for human beings to actually sing them. And a lot of the covers are way tuned down. They're way in different keys because human beings have to realistically be able to access those notes. Even if it's still high relative to the person, they had to bring it down most of the time to make it an accessible cover. But a lot of you guys don't realize that, because you're in the audience member kind of viewing point. And that's what part of what we do. We're putting on a little bit of a magic show as musicians, and we are doing some sleight of hand, if you will. And that's a big part of putting on a good show and a good performance and nailing things. It's not that we are actually superhuman. It's creating the belief that we're superhuman. So thanks, guys. I hope this helps make sense and kind of continue that conversation that we started in the other video. As always, links to my lessons and courses and things are all over the videos, in the cards and the end screens, and as well in the links below in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll be back soon with more voice hacks. What are the answers to some of the mysteries behind the sickest harsh vocals and metal screams out there? One of them is resonance. And that is a key component of what makes most of our vocals, clean or distorted, sound effortless or sound better than others. So let's get into it today and dive into how to make your screams more resonant. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I have a system of dividing the harsh vocals or the screams that we can do as humans into 3 different categories: false chord, distorting the voice, and fry scream. I do this to make
teaching easier and to convey the concepts easier to my vocal clients and students, and also to give you better control, because the categories are based on what our vocal cords are doing during each one of those sounds. But that's not the point of this video. If you're watching this video, hopefully you already have one of those going. You've learned from one of my courses or from lessons or something, and you're ready to start improving your sound, refining it, adding that extra sheen on it that really makes it stand out and seem very professional. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on our resonance. And when you resonate your screams, it doesn't matter which style you're doing, false chord, fry, or distorted voice. You want to try to drive the vibrations of air into the sinus cavity. And I'm not talking about making a negatively nasal sound that we might dislike, which is actually the opposite. It's the absence of resonance.
Did I do that?
And when we're doing that, it's not going to create a nasal in the negative sound. Each one of the harsh vocal categories will start some of the air turbulence and the vibrations down in here. And then we can create more turbulence by sending it up this way past the soft palate and the uvula and into the sinus cavities here. Our sinus cavities, unless we have some sort of medical condition where they're really, really impacted, they should be pretty clear, and they're great resonator cavities, and they really love to take the air turbulence we make with harsh vocals and roll it around inside of there and increase it. And so it will make your harsh vocals have better stamina, prevent hoarseness, all kinds of things. So that's why in a lot of my exercises and courses, you'll see things where we use the letter M to help drive it forward. So what you're looking for in your harsh vocals is, let's do a false chord, for example. Do you hear that kind of resonating in my face? So I'm not humming. I'm not going, In that case, that's a voiceless harsh vocal. But I would hum if I was doing voice with distortion. But in that case, I have my lips closed, and then the distortion is naturally just moving into here. And if I hold my abs tight and I open the vowel after I get some turbulence going in here, I'll hear a better, more distorted scream. So it'd be like, you can hear a big difference from where I started to where it ended. And you're trying to screenshot in your mind and memorize a little bit of this tingly sensation. Everybody has different variances on how much they feel this turbulence. So you might have to close your eyes and listen, or close your eyes and just concentrate on the feeling. But you want to aim it this way. It doesn't matter if it's high, mid, or low, or which category it's in. So distorted voice, me, may. You want it to go over your voice like that. And then same thing with fry scream. You can hear it resonating there. When I come out of the M and I've got that turbulence resonating in my face, the fry sounds much, much better. So I really would encourage you guys to concentrate on your resonance, but this is going to involve using your imagination and your abstract thoughts. You actually have to visualize it going there. It will go there, but it follows our controls, because those abstract pictures are what's controlling the vocal cords all day when you're just talking things. Sometimes we just say things and we didn't even mean to say it. So we tap into that. We've got to close our eyes, really think of it, send it this direction. Then we're going to get really full, distorted 6 screams. Remember the mantra, scratchy is good, hoarse is bad. So this will increase the tingly and scratchy physical feelings that you have. You'll feel the air turbulence on these tissues. We feel all those tissues, but we don't feel the real vocal cords. So it's going to feel kind of itchy and scratchy, but our voice should not be going hoarse. If you're going hoarse at all after trying your harsh vocals, something isn't going right. You can see I was doing those just now, and I'm talking just fine. Let me know what you think, how this ends up working for you, this concept, if it makes sense for you, in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with all of my videos. And if you're looking for lessons or courses on these things, I've got them right below here in the YouTube description, but also check the end screens, the cards that come across during the video. It's everywhere. You can also find me at voicehacks.net. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, everybody, I have some good news for you. I want to introduce you to the home of my vocal courses over on courses.voicehacks.net. This is where you're going to be able to find my video courses. And I've moved things around and I want to show you where stuff is and tell you all about the new stuff that I have going on. If you don't know me and you're just meeting me for the first time, I'm vocal coach Mary Z, and it's the 2025 season of my Voice Hacks YouTube channel. And I've been teaching extreme vocalists and modern singers for 20 plus years now. Let's take a look. I used to have some of these courses on YouTube under the premium memberships. There's something called YouTube Premium, which is completely different. And then there are like individual subscriptions where you can subscribe to your favorite creator's channel that have nothing to do with YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium is where you just subscribe so you don't get commercials and stuff like that. When you support a creator, you can join their channel and pay a small monthly subscription to them. And I did that for a little while and it was working, but more people found it confusing than helpful. And it wasn't a very good place to host the courses. So I moved them over to courses.voicehacks.net. And when you guys go over there, you can see that right now there's a fry and a false chord course. There's going to be more coming soon. And I've also moved over there the Brazilian language, the Portuguese language, false chord course from Carlos as well. That's going to be over there also. Let's take a look at what it looks like. You know, once you sign up, this is not another annoying subscription. You buy a course, you get to keep it. Even if for some reason the videos need to get hosted somewhere else, all that data is not going to disappear. Everything's going to migrate. And once you're in, you can keep accessing these videos forever. So you can take your time with these if you want, but the Fry course is by far the most in-depth one because it's the most complicated. And if you've been wanting to try in painstakingly, confused about the Fry scream and wanting to dive in, this is your chance to do it with this course. You could divide the payments up if you want. You don't have to pay for it all at once, but once it's done, it's done. It's not going to continue and continue and continue and be an irritating subscription that if you cancel it, you can't access the lessons anymore. I don't like that. I want you guys to be able to go in and rewind, fast forward, log in, figure out what you want to do and practice your screams, maybe even refresh the knowledge from time to time if you need it, if you want to. So this is separate. And in addition to my Zoom lessons, I'm still a full-time vocal coach on Zoom for students all over the world. And that's over just at voicehacks.net. You can get booked for lessons over there. It's not going to take away from that, but courses.voicehacks.net might give you a couple of things to really start going on and maybe save you some money on lessons and give you a resource where you can really dive into the curriculum, learn a false chord or a fry at your own pace and see how far you get. It's way more in-depth than anything I've ever done on YouTube. It's been working super well for my students so far. So I hope you enjoy it. Courses.voicehacks.net, and I look forward to hearing how they end up working out for you guys. Hey everyone, it's vocal coach Mary Z back on the Voice Hacks channel. Today we are going to get into something that I actually haven't made a video on in 10 years. Even I was surprised at that. It's distorting our voice, adding grit, heat, rasp to pitched sound. Nay, hey, hey! Let's dive in. All right, so first thing today, you probably noticed my snazzy Voice Hack shirt. These shirts are featuring the new logo update. If you want to get these, they come in a variety of colors, sizes, designs, and the links are all over my YouTube channel. It's integrated into the YouTube channel. Thanks to everybody so much for supporting the channel by grabbing one of those so far. It's really, really great to have your support. I appreciate you very, very much. And today we're going to get into a topic that when I looked, I actually really hadn't filmed. Like 9 or 10 years, I think it's been since I filmed a video about distorting the voice. And I'm not sure why, because I teach it so much in lessons. It's one of the main topics that people come to lessons with me for my Zoom lessons. So the first thing that I want you to do is put all the synonyms into this category of distorting the voice. Grit, heat, rasp, raspy sounds, drive, overdrive, all of that goes in this category. And it doesn't matter whether we're speaking, singing, shouting, voice acting. This is where we add distortion to pitches. Regular pitches could be spoken or melodic sung pitches. Nay, it's mechanically the same. So we're going to start in our speaking voice. You want to try to do this along with me. You don't have to be really warmed up for this because we're going to start in our speaking voice. I would say being warmed up wouldn't be a bad thing at all. You want to start trying to get some of these tissues to vibrate. Essentially, we're going to be doing voice underneath, nay, on the bottom layer. This is where we get back into the pictures in our mind that we have to use. The stomach is the gas pedal, the mind is the steering wheel. So we're gonna send our voice forward this direction. Nay, that's our normal talking voice on any comfortable pitch. And then the grit or the distortion, whatever we want to call it, whatever adjective we want to use, is going to go up through here. Nay, over the voice. So we have two things going on simultaneously. There are some double vibrations that do happen in the true chords, but we don't feel that and we don't get connected to that really in any sort of way when we're doing this. In a conscious way. Be observant that you're feeling the same tissues as our harsh vocals, where we'll feel scratchiness and itchiness, and that is correct, tingliness in the soft palate and the uvula, which hang back here, and we'll feel some in the false chords, aka the vestibular folds down here, and that will make us scratchy, but it doesn't make us hoarse. Scratchy equals good, hoarse equals bad. The true vocal cords go hoarse, and we can't feel those. And they're not the part that's making the grit. So it's going to be a little bit weird. Scratchy equals good, hoarse equals bad. If you feel like you're losing your voice or going hoarse at any point, you want to stop doing this. Not everything can realistically be learned from video tutorials. So this is why I still have so many students coming to me for voice lessons. Let's go ahead and try to do something in our talking voice. We're going to be talking on any comfortable pitch in the middle of your vocal range. That's usually just where you naturally talk. And so that might not match where I talk at all. For a lot of women, that's going to be higher than where I talk. For guys, that may be lower than where I talk. So just pick any comfortable pitch in the middle of your voice. Nay, me, e. And then what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we have distortion or grit going over the voice into the face, but you're going to do it from an imitation. We're going to imitate Dave Mustaine talking to himself in a closet. Hello, me.
Hello, me. Meet the real me.
Hello, me. Meet the real me. I want you to really caricature it. It's not going to stay this way. I've had a few people in lessons be alarmed, like, oh my God, am I going to sound like that? No, but you can't think about, I'm going to create distortion in my soft palate. You can't think of it with direct movement as far as the grit goes. You've got to imagine it. You've got to impersonate it. It'll get refined and cool sounding later. You just need to get the tissues going. Let's start with our Dave Mustaine on a comfortable pitch. We need to breathe in through the mouth very deeply between sounds, and we're going to bring our arms up each time the sound comes out of our mouth. So you have to coordinate this where the sound comes out when the arms go up, not like this when the sound comes out, which may be a little counterintuitive, but you're going to do a good job. You're going to try it. We're going to try to imagine that the grit in our Dave Mustaine voice is going over our voice. Our voice has two layers. So we're just going to start there. We're going to go, me. Me. So it may seem a little bit ridiculous to you, but I'm really projecting. We want to start loud with these sounds. It may be a little intimidating to do that. And if you feel like you're becoming choked up trying to do this, try the baseball throw instead. Me. 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 Okay. And then if you feel like you're starting to get it, close your eyes. Me, and see what do you feel. You're going to feel some of it in your false chords down here, and you're going to feel a lot of it up here. And you want to drive most of it up here. You're never going to get rid of the scratchiness down here, but you're going to feel a lot of it in here. Try to drive it into the face, okay? And not in a nasal way. it's going to resonate up there. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do clean, distorted in our talking voice. You're going to be doing E, me, E, me. So it's like having the clean layer and then you add the grit. Clean, add the grit. Try to stay on the same pitch in your talking voice. Let's try it. Breathe deeply in between as much as you can through the mouth. Here we go. E, me, E, me, E, me. Very good. That would be kind of how to do it in our speaking voice and quote unquote shouting voice, although we're not really doing the bad kind of shouting. Hey! Hey! You know, this is what we want to be doing for our shouts on stage. I'm yelling! Hardcore shout! You get the idea. Let's go over to the piano and try the same thing, but on a note. We're going to try middle C because I think mostly everyone can hit this. Basses, you may want to try an octave down. Some baritones, maybe try an octave down. Everybody else try here. Nay. Okay, so we're going to go E, me on this note. So I'm going to go E, me. So always be using your arms. Pay attention. Are my arms going up when the sound is coming out? Make sure that's the coordination. Here we go together 3 times. E, me, E, me, E, me. And from there, you can memorize how it sounds and feels. Nay, may. You can start using it. But the idea is to drive the grit up here, and then you can freely move the voice down here. And that doesn't matter whether we're speaking, acting, creature voices, anything like that. We want to view the technique the same. Mechanically, it's the same. We didn't get into distortion up in the falsetto voice, but that is a lot more specific. I do teach that in lessons as well. Maybe I'll have time to make a video on that later, but just try to master this basic stuff first and then slowly expand out into more musical shouts and musical singing with the repertoire that you do. You want to memorize how it feels as well as how it sounds. Thanks everybody so much for watching the Voicehacks channel. For lessons with me, visit voicehacks.net. Thanks everybody. What are the answers to some of the mysteries behind the sickest harsh vocals and metal screams out there? One of them is resonance. And that is a key component of what makes most of our vocals, clean or distorted, sound effortless or sound better than others. So let's get into it today and dive into how to make your screams more resonant. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I have a system of dividing the harsh vocals or the screams that we can do as humans into 3 different categories: false chord, distorting the voice, and fry scream. I do this to make teaching easier and to convey the concepts easier to my vocal clients and students, and also to give you better control because the categories are based on what our vocal cords are doing during each one of those sounds. But that's not the point of this video. If you're watching this video, hopefully you already have one of those going. You've learned from one of my courses or from lessons or something, and you're ready to start improving your sound, refining it, adding that extra sheen on it that really makes it stand out and seem very professional. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on our resonance. And when you resonate your screams, it doesn't matter which style you're doing, false chord, fry, or distorted voice, you want to try to drive the vibrations of air into the sinus cavity. And I'm not talking about making a negatively nasal sound that we might dislike, which is actually the opposite. It's the absence of resonance.
Did I do that?
And when we're doing that, it's not going to create a nasal in the negative sound. Each one of the harsh vocal categories will start some of the air turbulence and the vibrations down in here. And then we can create more turbulence by sending it up this way past the soft palate and the uvula and into the sinus cavities here. Our sinus cavities, unless we have some sort of medical condition where they're really, really impacted, they should be pretty clear, and they're great resonator cavities, and they really love to take the air turbulence we make with harsh vocals and roll it around inside of there and increase it. And so it will make your harsh vocals have better stamina, prevent hoarseness, all kinds of things. So that's why in a lot of my exercises and courses, you'll see things where we use the letter M to help drive it forward. So what you're looking for in your harsh vocals is, let's do a false chord, for example. Do you hear that kind of resonating in my face? So I'm not humming. I'm not going, In that case, that's a voiceless harsh vocal. But I would hum if I was doing voice with distortion. But in that case, I have my lips closed, and then the distortion is naturally just moving into here. And if I hold my abs tight and I open the vowel after I get some turbulence going in here, I'll hear a better, more distorted scream. So it'd be like, you can hear a big difference from where I started to where it ended. And you're trying to screenshot in your mind and memorize a little bit of this tingly sensation. Everybody has different variances on how much they feel this turbulence. So you might have to close your eyes and listen, or close your eyes and just concentrate on the feeling. But you want to aim it this way. It doesn't matter if it's high, mid, or low, or which category it's in. So distorted voice, me, may. You want it to go over your voice like that. And then same thing with fry scream. You can hear it resonating there. When I come out of the M and I've got that turbulence resonating in my face, the fry sounds much, much better. So I really would encourage you guys to concentrate on your resonance, but this is going to involve using your imagination and your abstract thoughts. You actually have to visualize it going there. It will go there, but it follows our controls, because those abstract pictures are what's controlling the vocal cords all day when you're just talking things. Sometimes we just say things and we didn't even mean to say it. So we tap into that. We've got to close our eyes, really think of it, send it this direction. Then we're going to get really full, distorted 6 screams. Remember the mantra, scratchy is good, hoarse is bad. So this will increase the tingly and scratchy physical feelings that you have. You'll feel the air turbulence on these tissues. We feel all those tissues, but we don't feel the real vocal cords. So it's going to feel kind of itchy and scratchy, but our voice should not be going hoarse. If you're going hoarse at all after trying your harsh vocals, something isn't going right. You can see I was doing those just now, and I'm talking just fine. Let me know what you think, how this ends up working for you, this concept, if it makes sense for you, in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with all of my videos. And if you're looking for lessons or courses on these things, I've got them right below here in the YouTube description, but also check the end screens, the cards that come across during the video. It's everywhere. You can also find me at voicehacks.net. Thanks, everyone.